Dano Villano, and you're listening to the Parleydome, where we discuss our shady pasts, our blurry presents, and uncertain futures. Only on ASM.
I also laugh when people try to be elitist goth in Perth, and I'm just like, this isn't London or LA. Like, you're king of a pretty tiny shit pile here. I liked when I moved here, it wasn't like that.
I remember this goth guy one time says to me, he messages me and goes, so are you a psychobilly? I said, well, I've been called a psycho and a hillbilly, but...
Now, was there a lot of that in Toronto?
There was, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people into psychobilly, but there was only one psychobilly band, and it was 3 guys from Mexico who all got deported at different times, and then they were allowed to come back, and they all married, but those marriages all fell apart because these guys were bastards. They were cheating on their wives. Yeah. You know, they got too big into the rock star thing. And the one guy, though, he's completely unrecognizable now because he, at some point, he just stopped combing his hair. It just grew really long. He got a noose tattooed under his eye, and I'm like, were you in the joint or something? He goes, no, I just wanted to do it. I was like, oh.
Because, like, the psycho, like, where I came from was, like, the alternative stuff was a lot of, like, psychobilly, what we call punktree, like, country-influenced punk and stuff like that. And then I came here and, like, I didn't see any of it. So I was just like, you're, like, the first person.
I don't know how
not that I'm a psychobilly
guy.
Country.
Me either.
But yeah, I was just like, oh, I thought it would be, like, a lot bigger here.
I like Link Ray. I like Sun Records, Rockabilly. I like Lovely Gramps. I just wasn't into the whole, because people would say, well, give me some bands, and I'd be like, oh, dude, well, you know, you gotta, if you check it out, here's Sabbath, here's Volume 4, and if you like Sabbath, you're gonna love Electric Wizard, and if you like Electric Wizard, you're gonna like this, and people were like, oh, this is
not the kind of music,
and I'm like, oh, I got you, and then, you know, I'm like,
those bands didn't last a long time, though. They came and went, like Zombie Ghost Train. There was, 3 Blue Teardrops. Like, I can think of a few, but they were very short-lived. Like, you were lucky if you got 1 or 2 albums.
It's funny because a couple of those, like the Brains are still going, but Renee is also in, what's it called? The Necromantics now.
Yeah.
He's finally a member of the Necromantics, but the Brains are still going.
They're still together?
The Gutter Demons got back together, like they've called it quits a couple of times, but now they've gotten together and now they're going to be completely done. But, you know.
I think it was all Necromantics back in the day. Like, well, one of the days.
What about
2010.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, they might.
They probably are, because they had some success.
Yeah.
You know.
See, like, I remember listening to, like, bits and pieces, and I would go to, like, the random shows and stuff like that, and I can't even, because it's getting so loaded, I can't even remember how the fucking bands I would see, but I was just like, I'm just here for a good time, listen to some rock and roll and stuff like that. I really, I think of all those bands I ever fucking listened to, I really love fucking Guitar Wolf.
Oh, hands down. Love
so
Guitar
much.
Wolf.
And I wish I could remember what the name of it. There was a fucking zombie movie that they did.
Wild Zero.
That's it. Oh my god, it's so
Wild
good.
Zero, and the funny thing is, I went to a show at the Horseshoe once. It would have been my second time seeing Guitar Wolf. And it's funny because when I got to the Horseshoe that night, all of a sudden I see a guy walk by in a Howling Bullets shirt, and another guy walk by in a Von Dratz t-shirt, and I'm like, I should just stop playing music. Just
These were your people.
So, anyways, I'm there, and Seiji, Guitar Wolf, he's thrown out picks, and he hits me with one, and I'm like, oh, thank God it's not one of those lasers from Wild Zero.
Yeah.
Jet rock and roll. I'm dead.
Oh god, so good.
I busted into their dressing room one time.
Nice.
Me and Sean from the Howling Bullets, I just said, Sean, come with me. And the bouncer looked at me and goes, where are you going? I said, don't worry, bud. This is a guy who let me do anything because he's like, oh, Dan was another bouncer. He might be taking care of something for me. So the guy looked the other way. I busted in and I went, hey! And I'm like, we're a band here. We're called the Howling Bullets. And they're just looking at me going, yeah. And I'm like, we did a cover of Roaring Blood. Oh, Roaring Blood, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit my. There's a private tracker that I have for like hard to find movies and stuff. I'll have to look at that right now. Wild Zero. See if I can get it from them.
We're recording, Johnny. Do you mind? Would you like to maybe like stay in the conversation?
I am fully.
Get off your phone already.
That'd be a good place to start. Get off your phone
Jesus
already.
Christ, he's only 23 years old.
Oh man, no, I liked a lot of that music from that era. I really did, but you have to be in the mood for it, and it didn't always flow with like the soundtrack of my life.
Yeah.
I had fun like at Halloween. I did like the playlist was largely like rockabilly and horror rock, and yeah.
But that's it too. I think like when you look at it, like it's always going to be there. I mean, like I think really like the Cramps really had like a huge hand in that.
Oh yeah.
Where they were
Yeah.
universally loved, not just by that scene, by everybody. I don't think I've ever met someone who's never loved the fucking Cramps song.
Everyone
I
I,
wouldn't
know
trust them.
both had Cramps
Yeah.
tattoos.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And
Like,
those-
or at least in a certain scene.
I've met some of those desert rock guys that were part of that whole Caius.
Oh, yeah. Nah.
You know,
Love Caius.
Fatso Jetson scene, like
Yeah.
those guys.
Desert
they all
Sessions.
love the Cramps.
Yeah.
Those guys all love the Cramps.
Yeah.
But I
Like-
mean, even to like another extent too, like you look at like a band like the Headstones that were just like they were big Canada wise, like people fucking love them.
Huge, yeah.
Never would, if you told them like, hey, yeah, if you like that, listen to
Yeah.
this, they'd be like, no, that's not the
They
Headstones.
they have a magic live though that is like I think what carried them in Canada.
Yeah.
Because seeing them live was a totally different experience. Just the energy, because I got to see them in Burlington a few years ago,
Right.
and I was like not really a huge fan until I saw them live, and then I was like, okay, now I kind of get it.
Yeah.
But apparently, back when he was still using drugs, like his shows were like that much wilder.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he got a lot of fan base going from just these crazy shows in small bars and stuff.
And I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but like I heard that a lot about the hip, like
Yeah.
the hip word thing.
Yeah.
It's like there was like Ahead by the Century is like the only fucking hip song I could ever fucking listen to beginning to end and not get like fucking Gordon Downing. Fucking like this garbage but people always say like you don't like their stuff. Like
Yeah,
you really
it's-
need to see them perform live.
Yeah.
And I saw them perform live when they had the Junos at Winnipeg one year. I was still living there, and it was before I moved to Toronto. And they played, and they did like 2 songs, and I'm just like, he's just walking around ranting. Like I could see this with any other fucking band. Like I don't get. It's like you don't get it, man. Like it's just like he's in his like Gord Downie zone
I've
right
heard
now,
the same.
and,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I've heard the
that's
same.
cool, but I'm not I wasn't a fan of this. What you're saying is going to sell me on them isn't doing anything for me at all because I've seen it with 100 other bands and it's
Yeah.
I'm not sure if 2 songs would have really got you in that place though, because apparently the charm with him was that he would go on these tangents on stage where it would be like this 5-minute song, and then he'd go into this like 20-minute jam session, and he'd be like literally lying on the stage and just like went into this weird, like you would think he was like fucking high. And apparently like that really wasn't. It was just that he would just tap into this music genius. I never seen them live. But
Yeah.
this is what I've heard from other people was that it would just become, even if you weren't into them, it would become this experience of just watching it.
yeah.
It was kind of like transcending time and space in a way. And I mean, I've seen bands like that where they just take you out of yourself almost, and it's like this crazy experience.
Yeah.
Yay, music!
Yay! But that's the thing too. Like I was really digging Tame Impala for like a long time because they're like heavy, like they were right into like psych right when I was into psych. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
cool. I'll get to see live psychedelic music from like a young band. They're gonna be thirsty. They're gonna be fucking hungry. I'm gonna get like these great jam sessions because obviously half the band are using. So it's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be more tolerable than like singing at a fucking Dead concert. And they played at the Cool House, I think it was. I was like excited. Friends are smoking reefer. I'm just like, cool. I'll just keep drinking. It's fine. Reefer, the devil's lettuce, and
Weed with roots in hell.
they put on their show, and it is a perfect recreation of their albums. There's no jamming, no fucking guitar solos, nothing. It's just
Yeah.
It's just-
by the numbers bullshit. I know. I'm
Straight
going,
out
like,
of the studio.
The dude, the lead singer is walking around with no shoes. He's barefoot. Obviously something cool is gonna happen because like you're going like that's got. He's not dressing like usual. Like he's dressing for comfort. And if he's dressing for comfort, then you're thinking his mindset's like, we're just in the basement right now jamming, man. This could be awesome. And, all right. I got a great idea. So we're gonna rip off Cream for about like 4 or 5 minutes, and then go like on this concert journey for 20. And never fucking happened. It was just like cut dry.
Yep.
In order albums, and I'm just like, this fucking sucks so much.
But that can happen with old bands too. Because when I went and saw Duran Duran, that was my experience with that. I felt like it was like straight out of studio.
Yeah.
No, so that's what I was saying. So yeah, no, Duran Duran, I found like everybody else was like, oh, that was such a great show. They were so on the mark. And I was like, I could have sat at home and listened to that exactly as it was. Like to me, it wasn't an experience. And I was really disappointed with that. But
that's what I found with a lot of industrial shows, where it's just like people will really hype it, and it's just like, okay, I can tell you haven't been to that many concerts, and it's still kind of new for you. And it's just like I've been to somewhere. It's just like I could have watched a DJ do the exact same thing. He literally gets up there, presses some buttons, and stands. And I'm like, it's the same thing with better video. Yeah.
V&B Nation was like that. I saw them open. It was at in the waterfront, and they had And One open for them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because you saw them before we even met.
And One was fucking amazing. Like, oh my god, I was like so psyched. I'm just like, yeah, like this is fucking awesome. So they're this great. V&B should be like, because they're the main act. They'll be awesome. And V&B goes on stage, and it's just like.
See, and I can't imagine that. I've seen
Pacing
them like
back and forth
so many times, and they're
singing,
amazing.
Pacing back and forth, and I'm like.
He does do a lot of pacing. But
I feel like I'm gonna start suffering my mall thing. I'm gonna be standing there and start nodding off around a bunch of fucking goths, going like, no, I'm here for the show. I'm not on anything. I'm just not entertained. Like this is fucking.
And that's so hard for me to fathom, because every time I've gone, I've just found he feeds the energy so well. It's just like.
I've seen both. Yeah. Like I saw them the first time, and there was the first time thing, but it was a really communal experience. And the second time, the audience wasn't as into it.
That could be what it is too.
But he spent so much time bitching about it to the point where I'm like, you're like a teacher whose students are getting all C minuses.
Was that the Phoenix show?
Yeah. One of them. I've heard of this happening multiple times.
They had like
at the
sound
Phoenix.
problems the one night, and it was like he got angry.
There was a few ones where it was just like, okay, I understand, like, come on guys, where are you? But when you're bitching about it to the point where like, we're a paying customer, shut the fuck up and play, because you could have played 2 more songs that might have gotten us off our asses in the time that you've spent bitching. Like, and also, and his vocals were off. He didn't get himself in tour shape, and he couldn't execute his vocals.
That was endearing though.
Yeah.
So
they handled it so fucking well.
They were doing great, and then they were doing a song, and Jim forgot the fucking lyrics, and he just
we were all like, oh, this is gonna blow up.
And he's like, I'm really sorry. It's been a long time since I've done this song, and we're just like, no, Jim, you guys are fucking awesome. Just keep going. He's like, okay, let's start up, fellas, and they started up again, and it was like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was just like, that made me to appreciate them. For them to fuck up and be like, okay, Jim is like, whoa. I'm really sorry this happened. But that's the only time he apologized about anything for that.
Yeah.
And it's really because he fucked the song up.
Yeah.
When I saw My Bloody Valentine at
Yes, I was literally just about to say that. They stopped like mid-song.
There were 2 major fucking mistakes that happened during that show. The first one is they opened up with a song off their new album, MBV, and Belinda was going off, and she was like, I think she was like half a chorus ahead of them. So they're playing, and then I'm like, she's doing stuff, and then it starts getting disjointed, and I can see Debbie, the bassist, and Kevin looking at each other like, what the fuck is she doing? And I was like, okay, it's the first fucking song, ain't no big deal. Because I'm only there for one thing, it's for the fucking Holocaust. We're gonna be bombarded with like sound for like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. You guys fuck up on the first song, not a big deal. But what ends up happening is later on, they're starting up a song, and I can't remember which one it is, and Kevin's playing, and all of a sudden he just looks at his guitar and he's like, starts again. And he looks at his guitar and starts at it again. And then he gets this look of fucking rage on his face. He grabs his guitar, takes it off around his neck, and throws it fucking backstage and starts yelling at one of the guitar techs. And they give him back another fucking guitar. He puts it on, plays it. He's like, apparently it wasn't tuned right, and he just fucking is angry. And then after that, they apologize. They're like, we're really sorry. You guys come here for a great time, blah, blah, blah. And this has been it's just like, no, you guys are fucking my bloody Valentine. It doesn't fucking matter. Just melt my brain with fucking sound for 20 fucking minutes, and I'll be happy. That's really what I'm looking for.
They're not a band you're going to for perfection, for like technical
you
like
don't
wizardry.
Go to see bands
It's a
perform live
soundscape
for perfection.
No.
Yeah.
Now, if they're sounding like they're completely out of tune for the entire fucking gig,
Yeah,
or
that's
if
gonna
there's
suck,
like no heart or anything to it,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be fucking going like, I
Yep.
don't want to fucking be here. I'd rather have paid $16 for 8 beers, be drinking them at home rather than 16 for 2.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
but that's just it. They're humans. So, I mean, these
Yeah.
people, they're coming out of experiences. Somebody might be in a shitty mood, but that's the mark of a professional, is when they can go out there and still perform regardless of what the fuck is going on backstage. So, yeah, I've seen some amazing concerts because of that, and I've seen, like, shitty ones because of that, and yeah, like, circling back, like, the Headstones really fucking got me. I didn't really, like, care for their music. I hadn't really listened to a lot of it, but it wasn't really my jam. But then to see them live, I was like, I walked out of there and I'm like, you know what? Like, now I can kind of like, bop my head at least when I hear them come on and like understand and feel like I connect to it. But that was just because of that stage presence. And I mean, he got down in the fucking audience and like, there was none of that like, wall up between the band and the audience. So,
Story first.
Please.
Okay, so speaking of technical difficulties, so it's 97. I went to see Johnny Cash.
lucky
I went to see
bastard.
Guys all like,
Johnny Cash, and in the band he's got June Carter Cash. He's got his son. He's got his son John Carter.
That's
Jr.
badass.
He's got Earl Poolball playing keyboards and piano. I can't remember who was on bass, but it was Fluke on drums, who used to be Carl Perkins' drummer.
right.
So during the Sun Records days, because the Tennessee Two and Johnny Cash, they didn't have a drummer, so he got Fluke.
Right.
He stole them from Carl Perkins because they all toured together
Yeah.
anyways. So during the final song of the night, he's doing Orange Blossom Special, and that's where he's got 2 different harmonicas, 2 different pitches, and he's alternating between harmonicas, and he's got a film in the background of an old black and white movie of a train. All of a sudden, the power goes out, the lights go out, the video goes out, and over the mic, you hear Johnny Cash go, "Where'd my train go?" And the whole place erupts into laughter because it was like everybody's just like a little kid again when you hear like after the 3rd song you hear him walk up to the mic and he goes, "Hello, I'm Johnny Cash," and the place goes nuts.
Yeah.
Because that was his thing, right?
Yeah.
So but when he did that, where
Oh
the
my
train go, it was just like
That's better than the song "Walking" pretty much at
it
that
was
point.
like it was like, man, like here's just a good old boy who's just handling it. A guy who's like,
Yeah.
what do I got to prove?
Yeah.
But the funny thing is like with My Bloody Valentine, there are people who probably went up to them afterwards and said, "Oh, you did that thing with the guitar at the Toronto show. You played Oshawa, Ottawa, Montreal, Boston, New York. You did the whole circuit. You went out west. You did Winnipeg, Saskatoon, everything. Why didn't you do the guitar thing there?" And they were like, "Well, no, that was a technical difficulty." Because there are people who expect that. They think it's part of the show.
Yeah, I thought it was
That's
at
it.
first too
Yeah,
because
there are
I'd never
people
seen
who think
them.
it's part of the show.
And they're kind of contrarian and weird and like kind of moody, like 80s type. So I'm just
Mid-set.
like, you gotta semi-expect that from them, right?
Seriously, mid-set, a buddy of mine came in and said, somebody said, "Oh, he needs the spare keys for his apartment that you have. He can't come in because he's got his dog." So I had to reach in my pocket, get the keys, and I'm going, "God damn it!" Like this during the middle of the set, people thought that was part of the show.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Parlay. We're really excited and happy that you decided to join us and listen to us regale stories of our pasts and what we plan for the future. And there will be more as long as you listen, and you will listen. It's good for you.